Hello, I'm going to show you my game, Flighting Game. I called it that because it's a fighting game and you fly. I built it in Unity and I wrote the music and used Wwise for audio implementation. So I'm going to demonstrate the game for you and then show you the Wwise project and yeah, just give you a little breakdown and showcase, I guess. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off by being quiet and just showing you the game so you can kind of see what's going on. And then I'll talk through it and show you and tell you what I did. Here we go. Okay, that was a short little demonstration. It's a 2-player game, so I was trying my best to play as both characters. It was really fun. We had some little like classroom tournaments and stuff. It was a good time. So I'm sure you noticed there were some things happening, like when you hold shift, when one player holds shift, there's a drum roll and the music behind gets ducked. When both players hold shift, there's this little drum fill. And then when you enter the game, it cues the music. You pause the game and it shifts. There's 3 power-ups and each one is designated to a different instrument. And when you pick it up, it plays a sound effect and then an instrument solo plays and then it ends after a certain period of time. There's player 1 music and there's player 2 music. When player 1 loses their life, it cues into the player 2 music. And those transitions happen on the beat. I'll show you that in Wwise. And vice versa. When player 2 loses a life, the player 1 music kicks in and that happens on beat. If both players have 1 life left, it cues the C track, the 1 life left for either player music, I guess you could call it. And there are different solos for each track. The shooting does a little bit of knockback and a lot of damage. The dashing does a little bit of damage and a lot of knockback. And the higher your percent, the more knockback you'll receive. It's kind of like a certain Japanese company fighting game that's very popular. It may have been based on that. And it's kind of like sumo wrestling too, where you have to knock them out of the ring, but it's just those borders. And then when your dash is on cooldown, the little rockets turn gray and the trail render disappears. When you get knocked out, the border flashes green. The skin of the rocket changes and then blinks when the power-up's about to end. Yeah, that's basically everything that's happening. Shooting and dashing does just the slightest bit of side chaining to the music. There's a score counter that gets saved for each round. The timer really just indicates how long the match has gone on. It's not like you have 5 minutes until the game's over, but the amount of asteroids that spawn in also scale with time, and the power-ups and the asteroids won't start spawning for like the first 10 seconds, and then The asteroids will increase in intensity and in volume, and the power-ups are random. So yeah, that's the basis of the game. Let me show you the Wwise project really quick. Here we go. It's a little squished because my resolution is decreased so that there's no lag while I'm recording. I guess that's a little workaround I discovered because it was laggy when I tried recording. Anyway, this is the Wwise project. We have here the sound effects up here in the actor mixer hierarchy. We have the buses at the very top in the master mixer hierarchy, and all the audio down here in the interactive music hierarchy. And it's all open right now, so it looks like a mess. But if I close everything, we have it divided in transitions, A section, B section, and the C track. A is for player 1, B is for player 2, and C is for both have 1 life left. And then the menu music is here up in the menu stuff. Naming convention isn't the best, but you get the point. It's but yeah, we have the different things here. The menu music, the drum fill, and the snare rolls. I have a drum roll and a continuous drum. The drum is the beginning, and then the continuous is the one that loops. So it will just sound like a drum roll is going on forever. And the drum roll actual segment there is for like the first hit. So that first hit doesn't loop. That's why it's separated like that. And then up here, we have all of the different sound effects. We have a random container here for when you lose a life. So it doesn't just play the same sound effect every time someone loses a life. It cycles between these 4. And then we have the clapping when a player wins. We have the dashing and the shooting sound effects. Player 1 and player 2, they're the same, but they're just pitched differently. And then the power up and the power up over, power up pickup. And then the snap is the sound effect that you hear. There's a random pitch on that too, so there's some variability every time that you select a button in the game. So it's not the same snap sound every time. And then I accomplished the side chaining here by using a meter and making a parameter, and making it so that when you shoot and you dash, it side chains the volume from the music. And we trigger everything through these events. That's basically just in the code, and that's happening right here. So these are the events for the menu. These are the events that happen during the game. We have the start event, bottom. You can see it stops everything, sets the state to the state A, because that's the default starting state, and then we play that music switch. And then depending on all the other things that happen in the game, we set different states. We have for shooting, losing a life, basically all the audio that happens, we set it up in an event and we trigger it in the code. Yeah, that's basically everything that's happening here in Wwise. I can show you in the SoundCaster. See, it's set to state C, but when I start the game, it'll go to state A because that's how it's set up in the events. Just like that. And the transitions happen on beat. More musical. That's how we set it up in the transitions. And then we have the different power-ups that trigger different solos. So here's the fire rate power-up. Like that, and it's the same for the other ones. Guitar solo. Marimba solo. Yeah. Go back to state. The shooting is a little bit of side chaining. You can kind of hear. Yeah, that's basically it. Same like we have the snare roll, and we have an event for stopping the snare roll for when a player like lets go. Same with the drum fill. We can stop the drum fill if both shift keys are not being held. And then the menu music. And that ducks the menu music when the snare is happening, and when the drum fill's happening, it super ducks the menu music. But that's basically what's happening with the audio, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. So now I can go back into the game and show you again. And that's it. Thanks for watching. That's my game.